Hey sunshine! Welcome back to Dark Sunlight. If you're new here, I'm Cady, and our little grove of the internet is full of bullet journals, tarot cards, and all things witchy self-improvement. If you're into that, the kindest thing you can do is like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free and really helps me to make more content for you. If you want to take our friendship to the next level, I also hang out on Instagram and TikTok. In today's video, I'll show you how I'm setting up my brand new bullet journal for 2022. This first page is a place to hold my bullet journal key, which is the key to bullet journaling. Sorry. It's a list of symbols I decide on at the beginning to denote what types of tasks, events, or notes I'm writing down and what state they are in. I decorated the list by adding a floral key in behind the frame. You'll see that I basically chose florals as my theme for this front of journal setup, as it's something I really enjoy drawing and something I won't get sick of for the entire 6 months that this journal should last. Another element I added consistently throughout all these pages are the black borders on the edges. I thought it was a nice way to tie it all together and differentiate it from the monthly setups that will follow. Going forward for the rest of this journal, any collections or spreads that don't fit within my monthly setups will also share this black border, so it will also make them easier to flip to quickly. Moving on to the cover page itself, I decided to simply write out the year in block numbers in the center and then create a frame all around it. Outside the rectangular frame, I drew in all sorts of wildflowers and plants to give the page a little texture. I then went back and added some color to the page using my Faber-Castell colored pencils. The next page to set up is my future log. I never skip this spread in my annual setups. It's by far the most useful page to have in your bullet journal. Since the very nature of a bullet journal is that it is created as you go, you can't always log events into your future like upcoming appointments. So this page exists to house all those future events until such time that you can migrate them into your monthly setups or daily logs. To tie into our theme, I chose different florals and botanicals for each page, pertaining to the season of the months on that page. January, February, and March get pine trees with some pine cones, and of course I added in the black border on the edge. April through June get apple blossoms as their flower. Next, July, August, and September share hibiscus flowers. Lastly, October, November, and December get some maple tree branches with some falling leaves. Is my Canadian showing? I'm actually so excited about this next page. It's certainly not my first time including a moon tracker into my bullet journals, but this one got a major glow up. I've renamed it to a celestial calendar, as it no longer tracks only the moon phases throughout the months, but also shows when Mercury goes retrograde, when the major Sabbats are, and when the sun passes into each of the zodiac signs. I also denoted which moons will be eclipses or black moons. Adding the dots along each row make this chart much easier to read and copy into my monthly spreads later on. I added more dots and stars around the top of the page to add a little bit of decor around the title. This next spread is for housing the results of my Samhain tarot reading. If you don't already know what that is, it's a 13-card tarot spread I pull each year on Halloween, or Samhain, to determine my themes and focuses of each of the months in the coming year. If you want to know more, I have an entire video about how exactly to do this reading yourself, and I even live streamed the readings for the past few years, which can also be found on my channel. I thought some pumpkins would be the perfect little plant to add to this spread. The next spread is one that I'll use to track my progress towards reaching my goals. Here I'll choose 6 major goals to complete in the first quarter, meaning the first 3 months of 2022. Underneath each goal, I'll write 10 easily measurable tasks to complete that will bring me closer to accomplishing that goal. As I complete each task, I tick it off and fill in one of the boxes of the tracker under the goal. As I'm a visual person, I absolutely love this method as it makes it incredibly easy to understand visually how far along to reaching your goals you are and how much work is left. For the decoration on this page, I chose to draw some crocus flowers. Okay, I feel like I'm really excited about all these spreads, but I am pretty sure this is the one I am most excited about. This page is based on a spread I invented a few months ago that I used for tracking all the work I had to complete before the end of 2021. So this is the revamped version, all set to start tracking my tasks for the first quarter of 2022. I'll color code some major tasks in the key on the right, like video filming, editing, or Patreon work, and then color in half a day that I want to get that work done, and plan the entire 3 months this way. As time goes by, I'll fill the other half of the day with what I actually ended up doing that day, to see the difference between my predicted schedule and what really happened. This page gives me a nice big zoomed out view of the time ahead, so I am not surprised by any deadlines. The way I'm going to set up this next page won't necessarily be useful for everyone unless you're also a content creator or are just really into tracking your social stats, but you can certainly adapt this one to suit your personal needs. Basically, this page exists to track results over the next 6 months. For me, it means tracking things like my YouTube and Insta followers and Etsy sales, but for you, it could be total monthly steps, or pages read, or miles ran, or hours studied. I'll take a moment here to welcome my newest patrons to our little grove, Sarah and Valerie. I'm incredibly grateful for your support. Our Patreon group is getting a massive makeover which will be launched in time for the new year, so keep an eye out for that. If you can't wait to join, there's a link in the description for you. For the decor on this page, I added some ground cherries, which I call pumpkin flowers, and they are my absolute favorite. This next page is my health tracker, which has stayed essentially the same as my past few annual setups, other than it is reduced to show only 6 months instead of the entire year. At this point, I'm certain that my journals only last 6 months at a time, so it's a waste of space to include those extra months. The only time it's worthwhile to include the entire year is for reference spreads like the Future Log or Celestial Calendar. The use of this spread is to track things like my period, any pain or discomfort, doctor's or dentist appointments, etc. At the top, I added some cherry blossoms for decor. On the other half of this spread, I created a media page. This is going to be a collection of any and all media I'll consume while using this journal, like shows, movies, books, podcasts, and albums. I left the layout super open so that I have room to write little notes about things or give them a star rating. I also created a space at the bottom for things that friends suggest to me. Last, but certainly not least, I'll set up my ever-useful grid guide. I did simplify it this time around, including only divisions for halves, thirds, and quarters. I realized I almost never divide my pages smaller than that, so it wasn't useful to crowd it with more lines. I included the box count at the end of each line so I can see exactly how many boxes to count at a quick glance. When that was done, I went back through all my pages and added a few more details, like drop shadows, more texture and dots, and I also corrected every single calendar in my future log, as I realized much too late that I had referenced 2021 dates instead of 2022. I don't know what I would do without whiteout. And finally, here is how my entire 2022 setup turned out. If you are short on time and want to jump right into planning for the new year, you can save some time by downloading the printable of this setup, either by becoming a Patreon supporter at the Pothos tier or purchasing it from my Etsy shop. Both my Patreon and Etsy will be linked below. I personally cannot wait to jump into these spreads and start planning out the new year. I have big plans and goals, and I want to get started right away. Patience isn't really my strong suit. Feel free to share in the comments about all your plans and goals for 2022. Let's get a convo going so we can all cheer each other on and get hyped. Cheers to 2021. It was great, but it's time for 2022. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.